Welcome to the Hidden Scroll. Have you ever pondered the life of King Nebuchadnezzar, one of antiquity's most influential rulers, as narrated in the book of Daniel, chapter 1? Today, we're embarking on a historical exploration to ancient Babylon, the setting of our epic saga. At this time, Babylon was a pulsating society characterized by its groundbreaking scientific discoveries, flourishing arts, and a complex legal system, which collectively laid the groundwork for Nebuchadnezzar's upbringing. Born into the royal lineage, Nebuchadnezzar was the son of Nabopolassar, a powerful general in the Assyrian army. Nabopolassar was no ordinary soldier. He rose against his Assyrian overlords and thereby established the Neo-Babylonian Empire. Within this novel empire, our protagonist, Nebuchadnezzar, makes his grand entry. The Neo-Babylonian Empire was an epoch of seismic shifts in socio-political paradigms. The society was known for its comprehensive system, advanced astronomy, and a rich artistic culture. The political structure was an amalgamation of centralized power and local autonomy, making it a fascinating study of governance. All these elements gave the empire its unique flavor and played a decisive role in molding Nebuchadnezzar's outlook, as depicted in the book of Daniel. Growing up amidst the diverse and dynamic tapestry of the ancient city, Nebuchadnezzar's education was designed to prepare him for kingship. Lessons in leadership, the science of warfare, and the intricate workings of statecraft were imparted to him, guided by the prophetic teachings of Daniel. As he grew up, the prince carried with him the weighty expectations to uphold his father's legacy and to steer Babylon to unmatched heights of grandeur. So, as depicted vividly in the book of Daniel, chapter 1, the young prince, Nebuchadnezzar, was being primed to command a robust empire built on a vibrant societal, cultural, and political foundation. Envision this: a vibrant young man, Nebuchadnezzar, all of a sudden finding himself bearing a king's crown in the aftermath of his father's unexpected passing. He was now at the helm of Babylon, a sprawling empire that extended across diverse cultures and regions. The political landscape at the time was complex and intricate, teeming with unique traditions, values, and challenges, from the fertile plains of Mesopotamia to the bustling cities of Assyria. And this was now Nebuchadnezzar's dominion to govern. His first major challenge, handling the management of these vast territories. Being a young and relatively inexperienced ruler, he had to grapple with the daunting responsibility of governing a diverse populace. Moreover, his ascension to power was not met without resistance. There were stirrings of rebellion in the distant parts of the empire. Factions discontent with the new reign were ready to challenge their young king's rule, thus threatening the stability of the kingdom. But Nebuchadnezzar was not one to be easily dismissed. His youthful demeanor masked a tactical mind and a warrior's spirit. He faced down the insurrection swiftly and decisively, as recorded in the book of Daniel, chapter 2. His victories, born out of divine interpretation of his dreams, were instrumental in quelling the dissenters, securing his leadership, and dispelling doubts about his abilities. These victories were not just about asserting his military supremacy, they were the cornerstone of a legacy that would resonate throughout history. Through his dream interpretations, transcribed in the book of Daniel, chapter 2, Nebuchadnezzar was setting the stage for his future to be immortalized as a legendary king. It wasn't just about wearing the crown. Nebuchadnezzar, now the king, was poised to etch his name in the annals of history, one dream at a time. So, how did Nebuchadnezzar shape history, and what makes his reign particularly noteworthy? Nebuchadnezzar was more than just a king. He was a conqueror, an astute ruler, and a visionary architect. His competence as a military leader was showcased in his numerous campaigns, with the assault on Jerusalem being a pivotal historical event. Under Nebuchadnezzar's command, the formidable Babylonian armies laid siege to the city, eventually causing its downfall. This event marked the beginning of the Babylonian exile, a consequential period in Jewish history where Jews were displaced from and relocated to Babylon. However, Nebuchadnezzar's influence was not confined to his battlefield victories. He was a tactful leader who transformed Babylon into a global hegemon. His understanding of governance and constant pursuit of prosperity and growth for his kingdom was mirrored in its thriving economy and refined societal structures. He also commissioned numerous sculptures during his reign, further showcasing his artistic and cultural sensibilities. But Nebuchadnezzar's reign was also defined by ambitious architectural undertakings, which attested to his visionary mind. He morphed Babylon into a breathtaking ancient wonder. The city flourished under his rule, with the construction of grand palaces, temples, city walls, and the zenith of his architectural triumphs, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. This lush, terraced paradise, celebrated as one of the seven wonders of the ancient world, was not just a reflection of his power and wealth, but also his love for his wife, Amytis. As per legend, these gardens were created to alleviate his wife's longing for the mountainous landscapes of her homeland. This tale adds a hint of romance to Nebuchadnezzar's otherwise stern persona. The Book of Daniel, chapter 3, offers additional proof of Nebuchadnezzar's architectural brilliance, citing his creation of a golden image, thereby showcasing his ardor for grand structures and sculptures. King Nebuchadnezzar, indeed a ruler of extraordinary power and vision. His term, punctuated by military triumphs, effective governance, and monumental architectural and sculptural feats, has left an enduring mark on history, affirming his position as one of the most esteemed monarchs of the ancient world. What remains when a monarch's rule concludes? What legacy did Nebuchadnezzar leave behind? The remnants of Nebuchadnezzar's rule are as grand as the hanging gardens he is reputed to have constructed. His impact on ancient history, particularly that of the Jewish people, is recorded in the Bible and has made a significant mark. His siege on Jerusalem, followed by the Babylonian exile, brought about major changes in Jewish culture and religious practices. Though it was a time of hardships, it also led to considerable introspection and development, shaping Jewish identity in the centuries that followed. Notably, the Book of Daniel, chapter 4, gives us a unique look into Nebuchadnezzar's life, detailing an episode where he descended into madness, living amongst wild beasts and feeding on grass like a bovine, exemplifying divine judgment on a prideful king. This account adds depth to Nebuchadnezzar's character, highlighting his frailties and the divine intercession in his reign. In the realm of architecture, Nebuchadnezzar was a colossus. He is credited with constructing the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, one of the seven wonders of the ancient world. While the existence of these gardens is still a topic of discussion among historians, there's no questioning the magnitude of his architectural works. Nebuchadnezzar turned Babylon into a city of splendor, replete with majestic temples and robust fortifications. This love for grandeur influenced subsequent empires, raising the standards for architectural skill. Even after the collapse of his empire, Nebuchadnezzar's influence endured. His legacy is ingrained in the annals of history and popular culture. From classical music to contemporary cinema, his narrative, inclusive of his madness as depicted in the Book of Daniel, remains compelling. He represents power, stands as evidence of human aspiration, and as a reminder of the fleeting nature of earthly glory. King Nebuchadnezzar, a name engraved in history, left behind an enduring legacy. His reign may have concluded millennia ago, but his impact, his tale, his legacy, these continue to be present. But even the mightiest of kings are not beyond divine retribution. How did God deal with King Nebuchadnezzar? The Bible in the Book of Daniel presents an intriguing chapter in Nebuchadnezzar's life where his hubris led to divine retribution. According to these ancient scriptures, Nebuchadnezzar was struck down with a unique affliction termed as boanthropy. This was a punishment from God for his excessive pride. For 7 long years, Nebuchadnezzar was made to experience life as an animal. He roamed aimlessly in his expansive gardens, grazing on grass like an ox. His body was perpetually soaked in the dew of heaven. His once kingly hair grew coarse, long and unkempt, resembling feathers, and his nails hardened and curved like birds' claws. This was no ordinary madness. It was an act aimed to humble the king, to serve as a lesson for the mighty to remain humble. The theological interpretation of this is profound. It represents a powerful message of humility, a warning against arrogance, and a testament to God's sovereignty and justice. Nebuchadnezzar's punishment was severe but not eternal. After 7 years living in a beastly state, his sanity was miraculously restored. He looked up to the heavens, sanity flooding back into him. He blessed the Most High, praising and acknowledging him who lives forever, recognizing his unassailable authority. He declared, "All the inhabitants of the earth are reputed as nothing. He does according to his will in the army of heaven and among the inhabitants of the earth." With this humbling experience, Nebuchadnezzar's perception drastically changed. He acknowledged God's ultimate supremacy, a remarkable shift from his previous pompous self. His kingdom was restored and he resumed ruling, but he was not the same man. He was altered by this divine retribution. King Nebuchadnezzar's punishment serves as a vivid testament to the consequences of unchecked power and arrogance. It teaches us that even the most powerful can stumble, but those who recognize and submit to the divine can rise once again. So, who was King Nebuchadnezzar, and how significant is his name in the annals of history, as well as in the book of Daniel? King Nebuchadnezzar, a figure revered in history and biblical literature, was far more than just the monarch of Babylon. His life and rule, meticulously detailed in the book of Daniel, sketch an engaging story of a king whose life was punctuated by dramatic upheavals. The book of Daniel recounts not only his transformation from a powerful king to a humbled creature wandering in his gardens like an animal, a divine punishment for his arrogance, but also his historical accomplishments and cultural legacy. His grand monuments, including the Hanging Gardens of Babylon and the Ishtar Gate, are cited as emblems of his magnificence and ego. The book further chronicles Nebuchadnezzar's recognition of God's supremacy, his humbling ordeal, and his ensuing restoration to power. This representation of King Nebuchadnezzar's life in the book offers a captivating journey from arrogance to humility to acknowledgement, and provides a window Babylon's historical and cultural significance, a narrative that continues to enthrall audiences even today. Every reign must come to an end. How did King Nebuchadnezzar's life conclude? As we delve into the final years of King Nebuchadnezzar's reign, we find a monarch grappling with the inevitable decline of his health. Historians suggest that his final days were marred by illness, a stark contrast to the vibrant ruler who once held sway over the Babylonian Empire. Nebuchadnezzar's death, around 562 BC, marked the end of his more than 4-decade reign. A reign that had seen Babylon ascend to unprecedented heights of power and cultural richness. His death not only left a void in the heart of the empire, but also signaled the beginning of the end for the Neo-Babylonian Empire. The succession of his son Amel-Marduk, known in the Bible as Evil Merodach, was fraught with challenges. Despite inheriting his father's throne, Amel-Marduk struggled to maintain the empire's dominance, and his reign was marked by instability and political intrigue. This turbulent period ultimately resulted in the decline and eventual fall of the Neo-Babylonian Empire. King Nebuchadnezzar's death marked the end of an era, but his legacy lived on, shaping the course of history. His story, a fascinating blend of power, arrogance, humility, and redemption, continues to captivate, reminding us of the transient nature of power and the enduring strength of humility and faith.